I chose to attend my best friend's wedding instead of my son's championship game. My son Ethan is 13 and plays soccer year-round. Not just casual rec league stuff, travel team, early morning practices, weekend tournaments, the whole thing. I've been at almost every game since he was 6. Rain, heat, whatever. This season, his team made it all the way to the regional finals. The championship game was scheduled for Saturday at 2 p.m., about an hour from our house. He'd been talking about it nonstop for weeks. I promised him I'd be there. Then my best friend Mark's wedding happened. Mark and I have been friends since middle school. He's more like a brother than a friend. We went through everything together. College screw-ups, bad breakups, my divorce, his dad's death. When he got engaged, he asked me to be his best man. I said yes without hesitation. The wedding date was set over a year in advance. No one noticed the conflict at first, including me. About a month before the wedding, Ethan came home from practice excited and told me the championship schedule was finalized. Saturday, same day, same afternoon. My stomach dropped. I checked the invitation again, like maybe I'd remembered wrong. Nope, ceremony at 1:30, reception immediately after. 2 hours away from the soccer field. There was no way to do both. I told my ex-wife that night. She didn't say much at first, just nodded while making dinner. Then she asked, "So what are you going to do?" I said Mark needed me. I was best man. I'd be standing up there. She looked at me and said, "And Ethan needs you in the stands." I said I knew, but this wedding had been planned forever. She asked if Mark had anyone else. I said yeah, but that wasn't the point. She just shook her head and said, "You better tell Ethan soon." I waited 2 days, which was probably a mistake. When I finally told him, we were in the car after practice. I explained everything, tried to make it sound reasonable. He stared out the window the whole time. When I finished, he said, "Okay," in this flat voice that hurt worse than if he'd yelled. Then he asked if his mom would be there. I said yes, of course. He nodded again and didn't say anything else the rest of the drive. The week leading up to the wedding felt heavy. Ethan barely talked about the game anymore. I kept second-guessing myself. I even called Mark and mentioned the conflict. He immediately said, "Dude, if you need to go to the game, I get it." That somehow made it worse. I said no, I'd be there. I told myself I was doing the right thing. Lifelong friend. Once-in-a-lifetime event. All that. Saturday came. I put on my suit and tie while Ethan was already in his uniform, packing his bag. He didn't look at me much. Before he left with his mom, I told him good luck and that I was proud of him. He said thanks and walked out. I stood there in my suit, feeling like I'd already screwed up. The wedding was beautiful. Mark looked nervous but happy. I did my best man duties, gave the speech, smiled for photos. Everyone kept saying what a great friend I was. During the reception, I kept checking my phone. At 2:00, the game started. At 2:45, I got a text from my ex-wife. They're up 1-0. At 3:10, tie game. I slipped out to the parking lot and stared at my phone like it could teleport me. At 3:40, my phone buzzed again. A photo. Ethan standing on the field, sweaty and smiling, holding a small trophy. Caption, "They won." I felt my chest tighten. I showed Mark later and he hugged me. Said he was happy for Ethan. Then he added quietly, "You should have been there." I nodded because he wasn't wrong. When I got home that night, Ethan was already asleep. The trophy was on the kitchen table. I picked it up and turned it over in my hands like it might explain something. The next morning, he was polite but distant. When I asked how the game was, he told me the highlights. But it felt like a recap, not a shared memory. A few days later, he finally said it. We were sitting on the couch and he asked, "Are you going to miss my next big thing too if something else comes up?" That one hit hard. I told him no. I told him I messed up. He nodded, but I could tell the trust had cracked a little. I went to the wedding. I missed the game. The wedding photos are framed on Mark's wall. The trophy's still on Ethan's shelf. One of those memories includes me. The other one doesn't.